Okay, all right, so this is the second time I'm trying to tape this. I'm doing this on Facebook Live. I like to do all my tapings on here and then download onto YouTube. So where have I been? I've been, I'm okay. I've been doing a lot of inner work on my mind control system. Basically, I've had a lot of revelations occur in the past couple of months, which then led to other occurrences happening and revelations and stuff like that. I've been watching very reluctantly Tim Rafat videos, and I'll tell you what, I absolutely adore the man. He has he has single-handedly solved so many mysteries of my programming, my life, things that were done to me, rituals that were done, everything. Um, and I've been documenting all this for 3 years, and there were times I just didn't understand why certain things were happening, and even prior. Well, his videos helped a lot because him and I have the same enemies. And yeah, so and he's from the those kind of programs too, and he's older than me, but it basically is very similar in how they do things. So I found out, to many people's dismay, oh, I'm frozen. Oh, come on. I don't know if I'm actually frozen. Okay, here we go. To many people's dismay, I'm starting to figure out the systems that were put in and the names that were put in with each system and who rules them. And then I've also been learning about the Kabbalistic tree of life and how they're basically trapping light workers and people in the Klipothic. I might be not saying that right. Part of the tree of life. I don't practice this stuff, but I believe that unless I learn what they've done and how they've done everything, I'm not going to get free of this, because they've done so many insane things. I mean, like, so I'm learning all kinds of stuff about how it all works, and then I almost feel like a sense of freedom in learning, from Tim Rafat's videos, um, how they've done it, because it's been no secret. I've had a synagogue out of Israel following me since 2011 on everything that I have. They're trying to hide it now, but I keep finding it. And I couldn't figure out like what that had to do with me. It just didn't make sense. And then, you find out about the rabbis who are involved in this, and basically it all makes sense. Yeah. And as I learn more about my system, and I'm not going to really go too much into that right now, um, there are people panicking around me. I actually had a panic in the system the other night. I was talking to a friend about all this, and he he's a bit of an antagonist. He was sent in to be an antagonist, but he's a friend. We argue a lot, but if I hadn't met him, I wouldn't have figured all this stuff out. So and so basically, I figured out the identity of why I'm being basically hunted down, and basically what spirit that I keep removing that they keep putting back in, and it has to do with the Luciferian mother goddess system. And I always knew that this had to do with the mother goddess, system, but I was thinking more along the lines of like Semiramis or like that kind of system, but I didn't even go into the Kabbalistic system. Then when I did, it all made sense. And there had been taunts over the years about like, oh, she'll never figure out her real name and, whatever. It's not my real name. I am who I am. But it's something that they're trying to morph me into. And they had done it before when I was in my early 20s. They had like, as I read the description of her and everything, and then I just, it never stuck, and they kept trying to get it back, and I just would go closer to God the more that they tried. And I guess now it's time for me to know the truth. And yeah, so so when I figured out her name, there was an entire histamine attack on my entire body. My lips swelled up, my nose everything was numb in my face. My arms went numb, everything went numb, and then all of a sudden I felt a spirit put its what do you call it, hand around my neck and almost like a knee in my back to try to stop. And my friend witnessed the whole thing, and he was like, oh my God. I'm like, I know. It didn't choke me or anything, but then it just felt this sense of heaviness on me. And I knew I was right about what I found out, because you can't really remove things until you can identify them. So once you identify the name of what it is inside you that people are hunting you for, and that, then then you can really get to work. And through that too, I could, and the most amazing part about all of this is when I do this, it lines up perfectly with history. My modern day lines up with history that I didn't even know about. I mean, like, so when I found, so I've had a series of men come in that are very distinct in their behaviors, and their interactions with me and things that they like and that. And I basically was able to identify who was inside me based on the information that I got from the Book of Enoch, and what fallen angel had taught what to humanity. And my particular one is Azazel, and I had been told about this a long time ago, but that it was Azazel, but it just didn't make sense at the time. But now that there's been a pattern of things that have occurred, now it all makes sense. Because this particular one, when he would come in male form, apparently he taught people about weapons, and he was a blacksmith, and he taught women how to do their eye makeup, and how to wear their jewelry and all that kind of stuff. Well, these three very distinct men that had come in, very powerful types. You wouldn't know to look at them that they were, but they were obsessed with watching me, beautify myself, putting on the makeup, would give me tips. I thought they were secret trannies or something, and they may have been, I don't know. But like, knowing my life. And they knew all about the eye makeup and how to like draw the liner on and like a little more than I did. And they would always send me like adornments, little jewels or adornments, but it was like much more than normal. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like regular, like, guys are like, oh, you look pretty, and they watch for a couple seconds, you get ready and stuff, but they don't care. These guys, and another interaction, and they would always insist that I was their wife. It was just very strange. I have emails, I have proof, I have all this stuff. And then when I was able to identify who that was, then I looked up who his wife was, and then I found out who his wife was, and then I went, oh. So apparently the one that that I've been assigned is known as the pleasant one. She's the most pleasant of the she devils, I guess, or the demon goddesses, which would make sense. Because I've always, no matter where I've been in life, I've always been very pleasant about things, and it's just so weird. So yeah, and apparently she hangs out with Lilith and them and whatever. Her days are numbered in my system as far as that goes. But the personalities are very the descriptions that I've had to look up. You can't find much about her, but I found some really good resources of who she was, and our personalities were very distinct. And what's interesting too, I guess she's called a psychopomp, and a psychopomp is someone who brings over. They meet people when they die, and then they bring them over to the spirit world. And back when I was fully active as her, the mind control programming in my 20s, it was always a really weird thing when anyone would die in the family. I all of a sudden would find myself in my high school cafeteria. Very weird. And I would see whoever it was, and I would take them where they needed to go. And in the morning, before anyone told me that they died, I would know. It was also very strange in the fact too that there'd be long periods of sleep, 12 hours. I'd go to bed at 10 o'clock at night, and then get up at 10 o'clock in the morning and have tons of things on my answering machine. And back then we had like the physical answering machines. I never heard the phone ring, nothing. I'd have tons of calls, and it was just strange. So it makes sense with me working as the queen of divination in real life. One of the best out there. I mean, there's just a lot of yeah, it's very interesting how it influences things. And because she's so pleasant, apparently. And what's interesting too, there's some thought about who she is, or who she was historically. She may have been married to Solomon and had a son with Solomon. They don't know necessarily if she was a wife of Noah, because they have the same name, and apparently it's just very strange, a history on her. But when I saw a thing about Noah's wife, and they did a recreation of her face, and our profiles are exactly the same. I have a very distinct little nose, and she had something very similar. Her features were very similar. And I showed my friend, and he's like, oh my God. So who knows? I know there's a lot of cloning going on, and all that stuff, and whatever. Who knows? I mean, I'll never get to the bottom of all of this. No one will ever tell the truth about what happened and who it all is, and all that. But I've been through a lot, I guess, supernaturally the past couple weeks, and it's not directed energy weapons. Because I always chalk up the fact that most house hauntings are directed energy weapons, or that most of the things that we see as paranormal are directed energy, but they're actually, that's been my thing for years. And I debunked a lot of the paranormal stuff, and yeah, but this has been really weird. And maybe it's just time for me to find all of it out. Yeah, so it's been a lot. And I don't get traumatized very easily anymore. I'm pretty tough, but a lot of this information has been kind of strange to digest. Like it's kind of like, oh, because my life has been a twilight zone for a decade. And apparently the Luciferian mother goddesses are, they run prostitution. And I can now understand why certain people are trying to force me into human trafficking and force me into that lifestyle and force this thing inside of me that I keep removing, and I never could understand who or what it was or how it all worked. But now I get it, and I get who it is, and yeah, it's a very complicated thing. Trying to, and I don't always go off trying to figure out the system or anything. I just end up end up in places where all of a sudden, oh my God, I'm finding information out. Yeah, so it's pretty fascinating. I've been doing videos, I just haven't uploaded them, kind of about what's going on. But I'm okay. Yeah, it's just been, I'm tired. I'm very tired. Yeah. So, yeah. So I'm pretty sure that in removing this thing, whatever the hell it is, I'm going to piss off the internal system. But I know that you cannot have deliverance from altars, but you can have deliverance from the spirits that are inside of them. I just want to be out of it. I'm so tired of being isolated and trapped by these people everywhere I move. It's publicly documented, even on Google. I move somewhere and then they move in all these like garbage patch people, like just human trafficker, gangbangers, like partiers, drugs, everything. Within 3 to 4 months of me being anywhere, I could be in the mountains of Tibet. Okay. And like I could be like secluded, and all of a sudden it would these people would just show up. And it would become like a drug corridor or something. And I don't do anything. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I'm very avid about, repairing all the directed energy weapons. Yeah, all the things that have been done to me. I have so many scars on my body from all of this. Right now, I got hit here. You can see all in here. They've been hitting the thymus. And my studies have also gone into the meridians of the body, and where they hit you on your body, as far as acupuncture meridians, could show what the desired effect of what they're doing to you. Because I found out that every hit that we get on our body is not an accident. It's not random. They're not just shooting blindly. They're actually shooting in very distinct places. And I know if they hit your gallbladder meridian, which is the biggest meridian on the body, it starts up in the temple, goes all the way around, down through certain points of the gallbladder, and then down, I think, to the third toe. I have scars all going down there. Someone had stuck electro or radio frequency ablation. They had done ablation on my body where I would wake up and I couldn't feel my leg, and it's all down the meridian line. And apparently that meridian is where it gives access to light in the body. So if someone is trying to turn you into, invert you into like a dark mother goddess of some sort, they would have to remove the light from the body and invert you completely. So now I can see exactly what they've done, even hits to the head, all of that. Yeah, and then Tim Rafat had said too, about how when the MI5 came after him, I believe it was MI5, how they said that they were going to destroy his gallbladder and basically hit him with directed energy weapons until he folded, because the gallbladder meridian is the light of the body. And people who have super soldier training, we have what's called Metatronic bodies. And it's basically, it just creates light at all kinds of, it like never gets sick. It's fascinating. I'll post about the Metatronic body, but that's basically what's happened to me. No matter what they've done, I heal within 24 hours. I mean, they've done things that were crazy. I don't really age. I'm 42. I have no makeup on right now, and I'm very little sleep and tired, but I chronologically do not look 42 years old, like, or even feel it, no matter what, what goes on. And those of you who've been with me for the past, 3 years have seen how bad they were torturing me. I mean, it was horrible. I've gotten better with the cameras, and but yeah. So basically, I've just been in research mode. I'm finding a ton of stuff out. I've had to take a trip into the underworld, I guess, to bring back information for everyone above ground. But this is how I work. I had somebody write saying I was slipping and mind control, and you need to get closer to God and blah blah blah. I'm fine. I'm fine. This is how I work. Sometimes I have to do things that other people don't want to do. Sometimes I, get spiritually attacked to the point that I'm physically ill. But I'm not going to, you're not going to get this information without some work. It's earned information. So that's why I'm finding everything out. So whatever, I'm going to do deliverance work now. After I wash my house and the outside, and remove this thing, I let it come to the surface, and when it's ready to get plucked, I pluck it right out. But in the meantime, I just kind of figure out what it is. So yeah. I just want to be free of all of this. I'm so tired of being followed and stalked, and have drones outside the house every single night, just beaming the shit out of me and the dogs, to the point that the dogs cry now. They were hitting my dog's ears so bad that I believe his eardrum popped, and I had to take him to the vet. But it was like, and then nothing was healing, So then I realized, because I was getting hit in the ear too, and it's always their right ear on both of them, and they start itching it at the same time. I mean, where are the chances of that? So anyway, but yeah. So I've already been talking for 23 and a half minutes. So, but I'm here. I'm okay. This is for YouTube, and yeah, so. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.